Welcome to another Maz Play video. This is MazMojito, and today we're going to be getting into another survival style game, and this is going to be the pilot episode. We're playing Survival Fountain of Youth. Let's get to it.
This story is inspired by real events. According to historic records, on March 4th, 1513, 3 ships sailed from Puerto Rico. They were heading to faraway... It all began in Puerto Rico, when Governor Juan Ponce de Leon gave military support to the chief Gaibana in a war against other tribes. The Spanish soldiers quickly ended the war and restored peace. The grateful chief told Ponce de Leon an ancient legend of his people, a legend about Bimini, a hidden island lost in the sea. According to the legend, in the center of Bimini is the Fountain of Youth. Anyone who drinks from it will enjoy long years of health and youth. The chief also gave him an old map, covered with inscriptions in an ancient language. The map showed an uncharted group of islands. The location to search was clear, but the inscriptions were still a mystery to uncover. The captain believed in the legend and began to prepare an expedition. The best scientists and sailors of the New and Old worlds volunteered to join his adventure. A total of 3 ships sailed off, the Santiago, the Santa Maria, and the San Cristobal. Ponce de Leon was sure that the ancient map would lead them to the fountain and bring them fame, wealth, and eternal youth. The voyage to the islands took an entire month. On the 30th day of the journey, the lookout spotted islands up ahead. They were the islands from the map. The expedition was just 1 day from its goal.
Alright guys, so we are jumping right in. We finally get a chance to actually control the game. As you can see, we are one of the sailors on the ship, just waking up here, looking around, exploring ship a little bit. A lot of this is going to be a little bit of tutorial, just to kind of get a feel for how to move around, how to fight, and some of the menu commands. Now, I have played this game for a little bit, took a break as usual, which is my usual story, and came back to it. Since then, they've made quite a few updates, and it is a very traditional survival style game. You will get hungry, you will get thirsty, you will get sunburnt, and all the other usual things. And now I have to fight this dog looking thing. Looks like a giant squirrel. I guess it's some kind of Wolverine. I'm not sure what it is. But the point of this is just to get you familiar with how to stab, how to use a weapon. Alright, so it's dead. It must have escaped from one of the crates that you see off to the side. We have your typical journal menu, show you where to go, different missions, and this is just kind of give you a feel for the ship that you're currently on. Got a captain's map there. So now we kind of have a map of the island. As you can see, there's a really bad storm in the distance that we're sailing into. So that is not a good sign. So we're going to keep it moving. In the upper right corner, kind of gives you your objectives of what you're supposed to do. Right now, it is the middle of the night, so everyone is pretty much sleeping on the ship. But as long as we follow along with the tutorial, we will advance the story. Okay, so again, this is the captain's quarters. Your captain is Captain Juan Ponce de Leon, and he already kind of did a little early reconnaissance mission to where you need to go. So right now you're just kind of exploring his quarters, following along with the tutorial. We just got a map, and now we have to place it on the map stand, which is glowing for us, so we know exactly what to do. And here we go. We are running into that heavy storm that we saw in the distance. And as you can see, the ship is starting to take the brunt of it. Everyone on the ship is kind of freaking out. You can hear all the screams and the yelling. Your character just got kind of knocked out a little bit with a shield or whatever that is. New goal, survive the shipwreck, because as you can see, the ship is on fire and going down. So this is going to be one of your first chances to make a decision on what you want to start off with gear wise. Here is our first destination. We have to find that grotto location on the map, and in the chest we have a couple things, but we can only choose 2 of them. So I like to choose a good weapon and possibly either some kind of storage item or some kind of other useful accessory, maybe even a backpack to give me some more expansion on my storage slots. But definitely want to have a weapon, because we're going to be running into tons of animals. Once we get that weapon decided, we will move on to continue on the story. Alright, my decision has been made, choosing the backpack and spear, and we are now abandoning ship.
The storm came out of nowhere. None of us were ready for it. Strong winds and giant waves blew up in a split second and crashed into the ship. The sails were torn apart and the ship slammed into the reefs. The sailors jumped from their bunks and tried to save the ship, but it was too late. I came to my senses on the sandy shore. My memories were gone. I could not even remember my name. But I was alive, and hoped that at least one of my fellow crew members had also escaped.
Alright, first day waking up on the island, new goal, quenching thirst. So as with all survival games, definitely need to find some kind of water to drink. And of course, coconuts are usually a very good start once you can figure out how to get them open and go ahead and drink from those, the brown parts at least, not the... Well, the brown parts you can actually eat from. I stand corrected with the white coconut flesh. But the green parts, you definitely want to look for those. And that's how you're going to get your initial source of water. We got a couple items here that we can craft as long as we have the materials. We finished that quest. We got a couple other additional information in our codex. Here's our inventory slot. We are now holding a empty coconut, which we turned around just ate. So that's going to help us with both our food and our water levels. As you can see down at the bottom, we have our first symbol with the heart symbol. That is your health. The second symbol is your food or hunger level. The third symbol is your thirst level. And the last symbol is your stamina or your fatigue, exhaustion level. All typical things that you would run into when you're playing survival games. So we're going to try to make our way to the little map markers here. And here's another thing, shell. Every time you pick up something new, you will unlock a new blueprint for some kind of new tool that you can craft. So obviously these shells have some mollusk in them, and the mollusk can be used as fish bait. It can also be used as other useful things. You can just kind of, every time you pick up something, it will have like a little journal entry or codex entry that actually tells you more about the item. I like to clear all the little yellow diamonds, which is basically, hey, you have something new to look at, but I don't like those flashing yellow dots, so that's just a personal pet peeve of mine. I try to clear out all those new messages. But we're going to keep it moving. We don't have a compass to start off with. We can't find one eventually, but this is pretty much what we're starting off with. Each thing that you have, and I just ate a raw mollusk, but each item that you have food-wise, some of it you can eat up straight raw, and some of it does have some kind of poison effect or just some indigestion or things you have to worry about. But when you're first starting and you're starving and thirsty, you really don't think about that. You just want to keep it moving. So fortunately, we have a little mission marker on the map, and I'm always going to be on the lookout for these green coconuts because the thirst is going to be an issue. The sun's beating down on you, so that's going to make you get thirstier fast. And keep an eye on those bars to keep those levels up high. So moving on ahead, harvest a small stick is our current objective. That's why I'm sending this over here to this tree. And fortunately for this one, we can harvest it by hand. No tool needed, as you can see at the bottom. Some of these items do need tools like stone knives or stone hatchets or whatever. But starting off right now, I don't need any tools, so that's a good thing. And I just unlocked mapping charcoal, so that's also useful. We got a fire starter here that's going to be useful when we're doing campfires. And then we have a bunch of other crafting things that we unlock just by picking up a stick. Stick baskets, stick fences, and eventually as you unlock, you'll find more items on the island that's going to unlock even more construction recipes. You can actually build a whole big giant base here with shipping docks and everything if you want. We got a stone pile. The stones is going to be very useful, but they do weigh you down because there is a weight penalty in this game with your inventory. But that also unlocks quite a few recipes. As you look in your codex, you're going to see quite a few yellow dots in crafting and in journals, so that's going to help out. Now, every time you craft and make something, there is a time penalty. It tells you how long it takes to make it. Which is not a big deal unless you're trying to make your food, hunger, or thirst levels last a little longer. Then you have to think about that. So we now have an axe, so we can actually chop down some trees now. And of course, that is our next objective, to get a long stick. And probably the only way we can do that is using a hatchet. So by harvesting that tree, we were able to get a long stick and unlock 3 more recipe items. As you can see here, I'm just going ahead and clearing those. One of those is most likely a spear or some type, and you will need some kind of long weapon to deal with these wild animals here on the island. So we always need to be on the lookout for food and water. In this case, we are now hunting crabs. We have a spear, so we're going to practice chucking the spear from far away. The spear does drop after you throw it, so you really got to kind of angle it up a little bit high to let that spear drop down onto your target. Okay, in the distance there, you see one of those wild dogs or mongooses or whatever that was on the ship that attacked us. So we're going to go ahead and take that out because they are aggressive. We just need to make sure we aim up high enough so that it drops down. Now, in this case, we missed it, but fortunately, we did choose a iron spear to leave the ship with. So we have both an iron spear and a backpack, so we at least have some kind of self-defense. And the good thing is we can recover that spear every time we chuck it. So until we make more. And there we go. The iron spear is super strong, but the durability will go down pretty quick. But you can also use this to throw at animals as well as just kind of poke them as they get close. All right, so we got a bit of a weather change here, but our objective is to get some leaves now because most likely we're going to need that to build a shelter or a bed. So we're on the hunt for some palm trees now. Now you can find leaves on the ground here, some yellow leaves. Those are you can use those for some slightly different recipes from the green leaves, but I usually try to pick them both up until I'm getting dangerously close to my inventory being full. So it is now dark, so eventually probably need to build a bed and a campfire, which is the next objective. Build a primitive leaf bed. So that's what we're going to be looking for the materials for that. So these fern plants will come in quite useful. They're big, large leaves there, just like in some of the other survival games, can be used to make like some water traps and stuff like that. So definitely you want to get some of those if you need it. The chamomile is also useful, not right away, but in the future you'll be able to make like some medicines and some drinks, and that chamomile will come in handy. Now these things do respawn over time, especially if you leave this part of the island and come back a little bit later, but they're only going to spawn in certain places of the island, which eventually you'll be able to map all these resources and show them on the map, and so you can come back to them as they respawn. But we are still trying to find the grotto. We could just go ahead and prepare a bed of leaves now just to get the quest objective out of the way, but I do want to find that cave so that we can at least set up some kind of temporary shelter. And as you can see, by getting those fern leaves, we unlock quite a bit of clothing, protective clothing type equipment. Now keep in mind, our person did survive a shipwreck, so they are probably shirtless, shoeless, pantsless, and they're just kind of like running around with no kind of protection from the sun or animals. So it doesn't hurt to go ahead and prep and craft some kind of protective clothing if you have the resources for it. Quite a few other things we've unlocked. A stone saw that's going to be coming in handy if you're trying to make planks and stuff in the future. But as you can see, as we find the resource, the item that is grayed out as far as the blueprint item will fill in, and it will tell you what resources you need to craft that. All right, and it looks like we did find the island cave, or the grotto as they call it on the map. So there's a couple of resources in here. There are also a couple nasty scorpions in here, so you really got to be careful and make sure you take those guys out with a spear so that they do not bite you or sting you as you are walking by. And then you will get some nasty poisoning and other kind of issues, problems that you don't want early on, especially when you don't have medicine and all that kind of stuff to heal yourself. Fortunately, the captain was here before us, it looks like, and there's some good tips and tricks in here, and he left a nice campfire and a setup for us to set up at least an initial base.
Our captain, Juan Ponce de Leon, also survived the shipwreck. Sea currents brought him to this same island just a bit earlier before my awakening. He located the grotto and made it his temporary shelter. Then he started to act quickly and decisively. After building up the temporary camp, the captain began to explore the island. He named it the Island of Hope. During another trip, he heard distant cannon shots. It was a signal from one of our ships. The captain left this note: then hurriedly packed up and sailed toward the sound of the cannon fire. He was in a rush to help his crew. Running quickly, he forgot his spyglass on the other side of the island. If I find it, I will be able to look around the island.
All right, the captain also left us some magic water there, which you will find throughout the base, or throughout the island, I should say. They're kind of a rare item that you can find, but that helps expand like your health points and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be useful. So we're going to go ahead and continue poking around this cave and get set up and call it a day. Right now, we're going to go ahead and put a bookmark in the video. Really like this game. It is a typical survival genre game. Hope you're liking this game too. So as usual, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. Please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps out the channel. And we will see you in the next video.